I remember that first day as the turning point, as one of the most beautiful days of my life. The sun shone warmly. It could almost have been summer, except for the cold wind that blew my long blonde hair into a cloud of tangles. But it was spring, and the earth seemed to be bursting with vitality. I felt that if I stood in one place too long, its infectious growth would flow up my limbs, and I would take root like, oh, what the hell was her name? Apollo and, oh yeah, Daphne. Miss Hawthorne? I jumped slightly and glanced at Jonathan Weber, my future landlord, scarcely realizing I had spoken, not wanting him to think I was too eccentric. He's no Apollo, but he might do in a pinch. I pushed the hair from my eyes and gave him a warm smile. Nothing. I was just sort of thinking out loud. I'm sorry, you were saying? He was substantially taller than I, probably at least a foot, and his dark hair, only slightly gray, was tousled from the wind. His brown eyes danced as he became aware of my scrutiny, and he returned my smile encouragingly. I said that the utility bills are generally higher in the winter, with all those windows. He shrugged and pointed to the third-floor apartment of the Victorian-style home. But of course that's why you want it. The light is wonderful for painting. I believe it was used by the original owner as a studio also. I looked to where the sunlight glinted from the row of windows and felt a shiver of anticipation. It's perfect, I whispered to myself, and my fingers tingled, aching for the brush, the smooth, sensuous sweep of oil across canvas. Let's go up. I tugged on his sleeve like an impatient child. I want to see the inside. He began to climb an outer set of stairs, and I followed eagerly. The entrance to the enclosed set of stairs was unlocked, and he opened the door and paused on the landing. You can lock this if you want. The couple living in the second-floor apartment, and he gestured to a closed door opposite the entrance, have a complete set of keys. I expect it'd probably seem strange with you coming from a big city like New York, but many people around here still leave their doors open. We've very little crime here, even though the town has expanded a bit. He shrugged and smiled at me, then climbed the last flight of stairs, opening the door to my new apartment and holding it back to allow me to enter first. 5 more steps up, and I was there. The first thing I noticed was the smell of fresh paint and new carpeting. Underneath those odors, I thought I detected a heady floral scent, exotic and seductive. And despite the wash of sunlight coming through the windows, the room was cold, icy cold. I walked into the living area, folding my arms across my chest so that the tightening of my nipples would not be so obvious. The apartment was ideal. Not as compact as the place I had moved from, and not large enough to be a burden. The kitchen, though small, had been completely modernized, as had the bath. The bedroom was merely a curtained alcove adjacent to the main area, but the studio was well lit, airy, and exactly as he had described it to me. Once again, I felt the urge to begin painting at once, even though the bulk of my supplies would not arrive until tomorrow. Jonathan cleared his throat nervously, and I turned, surprised to see that he was still standing at the top of the stairs, not completely in the apartment. This is a wonderful place, I said. I just can't believe my luck in finding it vacant. Thank you. Well, he smiled hesitantly. It's like I tried to explain to you in our correspondence. Not too many people have felt comfortable here. I really hope it's different for you. You've never been to New York, have you? He shook his head. No, but what has that got to do with anything? My laughter seemed to puzzle him, so I continued. Well, compared to the places I've been, the people I've roomed with, and the sights I've seen, your ghost should be a welcome change. I tried unsuccessfully to hide my skepticism. I did not believe in ghosts.